Hey, here's my review for HoB. Celine on the Lanes is The Last of Us Creepy Grief Edition. And it's so cool how you know what it's got. Two price tags graphics are up first if there is one thing, and there is actually more that HoB has going for it. Is the fact that it is fully enhanced the transformation ideology of its core. The entire world just shifts and transforms around you, with most of your actions having huge pillars of stone and steel cheering out of the ground to bring you to completely unique and new location. And it's not that Michelle Bay bullcrap or 1 million moving pieces are all shifted in place like a godman LSD dream. This is more brutal. It's guttural. It's like tearing up the land from one continental shelf at a time and then slamming it back down the way it probably should be from the very moment your altar grabbed right out of your starting to marry something both mechanical and ethereal that's going on, and hop from unequivocal like patterns of the wine clean voice to the glowing global alien foliage that has really festooned itself all over the game world. There is an economic of nature and mechanical that really plays well here, most likely because the developers did not do high tech but more of a steampunk with questionable mechanics driven by stone and steel and gears and questionable maintained steam pipes. It really looks like nothing else out there, even if we have seen this kind of art design in other places. Now I also have to say, while the enemies aren't exactly numerous, nor are they all that unique, they are some standouts like the freakish bomber bugs, who throw bug grenades at you from far off and look like they're chewing off the tail as the timer, or the long-limbed gins who swing and move in such a way that way keep looking at them and thinking, how is that thing moving even possible to me? It actually looks like a mixture of the 1917s withered cartoon mixed with an adventure that Bob Ross would have made if he had not been called up to paint Happy Clouds Forgot. And one of the first things that I noticed in that I really actually found strangely gratifying is that whether I was chopping through huge fields of grass, all of them reacting to wind patterns and creature tracking you, or I was climbing up monolithic structures and underground dungeons, I never felt completely lost. It's not a game where puzzling out where to go is really high in the agenda. Instead, it's more about what you do once you get there, and the game dolls out areas and you sort of realize that maybe you need to supply some power to some switch or a transformer. There is the unique free flow that casts on within HoB that I have not really felt before, and graphically there is something incredibly informative about it, and I think those two sandwiched together. Also, I have to say the color choice here does not really matter what's going on about, especially the somewhat ugly yellows that we have seen in some other games. Here they have this nice warm glow to them that works to paint HoB in unique light, whether it be the purples and blues of stone or that copper look of the ranch of a leader. At this really well done color choice. Sadly, the game has some issue, especially with performance in these versions, and they all them from frame rate, which I was informed would be fixed prior to release. The game had some fairly frequent drops to the low 15s from its targeting 16 FPS, and this was usually in new areas that had just loaded or in areas with a heavy amount of graphical effect, like fields with stones of glowing powding like bits in the air. Now it never affected gameplay, but you can see some of the footage here, and that was even when running at 1080p on the i7 at 4.2 and the GTX 1018. And while I do love the blunt and stylized textures work, for the most part many of the grassland areas really seem technically and noticeable blend in their ground texture, and while obviously a choice from the designers, I cannot help but think it could have done with a bit more detail to draw the eye as a package. So I have to say I love the way the game looks, and old Stretch himself has a fantastic gait to him as he trots along with an arm that would make Hellboy change colors from Grizzly even if I'm not necessarily happy with the FPS drops. Oh yeah. So thanks for watching, subscribe to my channel and wait my next video. Goodbye.